Well, hello to the land of the unfree and unbrave. This is attorney Michael Eline. As you know, I'm an attorney licensed in Texas and California, and I primarily do personal injury, but I also do civil rights, and I teach people how to become lawyers without law school. And I'm friends with Chili DeCastro, and I help him out on the channel from time to time. And I was doing some research the other day about this SAFE Act in California. It's this new law that Newsom's trying to push. It basically allows public school teachers to lie to parents so they can use like different pronouns for their children to help them come out. And so obviously that there's a lot of pushback from that. And it sort of ties into what's going on with the judges that we exposed the other day. The hot tub judge, the Cardi B judge, and then we exposed the OnlyFans cop the other day. And we're kind of seeing how people are using official positions of power to get close to little kids, or they're using it to promote their career, get a job at CNN or something. But they're not like the normal types of public servants that we're used to. Like when I was growing up, people became public servants because they thought it was a calling. They would work for a small pension and serve their local communities, become librarians, police, whatever, but they weren't trying to use it as a stepping stone to get more likes and shares or whatnot. And so we kind of see a lot of that happening. And so I have BZ Watchdog with me. Everybody give a shout out to BZ Watchdog. BZ Watchdog and I, well, primarily it's BZ really. I'm just throwing a few bones to him now and then, but he's out there hustling, doing these public records requests, exposing the post office and local police and how they're skirting federal and state laws to make arrests and raise revenue for local communities, and basically violating the rights of the citizenry. And he's really on it. So I have him on today as well, because he's also really funny. He's a great comedian. BZ, say hi to everybody for us, bro.
Well, since everybody skipped the greetings and salutations, I'm not a dad, but I'm going to say Happy Father's Day to all you guys out there. Mike doesn't care if you're a dad. That's why he didn't say Happy Father's Day. I'm just kidding. It was easy for me. I got to do 2 phone calls in one. It's actually my dad's birthday and Father's Day. So I just knocked out the same call in about 30 seconds, and we're good till next year, or at least until Christmas.
That's outstanding. Well, that again, let me also say Happy Father's Day to all you dads who are always out there hustling, busting your butts because you know it's your duty and nothing more or nothing less. You're just doing it because it's what God created you to do. So happy Father's Day to all you guys for just doing what you're supposed to do. I don't really care about Father's Day. To me, every day's Father's Day, because without me, my wife and kids will suffer. Hopefully you guys are in a similar situation, because that gives you a cause bigger than yourself to struggle for. And so today we're going to talk about judges gone wild. And the first thing that I just wanted to just really, really quickly top sheet with you is this article that I found from Reuters that talks about thousands of U.S. judges, thousands of them, who basically have remained on the bench despite the fact that they violated their oaths of office. And then I found a way to break it down really quickly. Let me make sure that you guys can see everything. But in the past dozen years or so, this is like a summary. It's really kind of cool. I was able to use Bing. By the way, I kind of like Bing better than Google now, besides the fact that Google's hardcore commie. But basically, it breaks down the article and it says, in the past dozen years, state and local judges have repeatedly escaped public accountability for misdeeds that have victimized thousands. 9 of 10 kept their jobs. And an Alabama judge who unlawfully jailed hundreds of poor people, many of them black, over traffic fines, got to keep their job too. And so this is what I've been trying to highlight with you guys on the Michael Eline channel with BZ, is that you've got judges who are just getting away with pretty much everything and nothing's happening to them. We just saw the hot tub judge. And so what I'm trying to do is educate everyone on my channel as well as Chili's channel to understand how this works. The way this is working is, this is a top-down situation. The cops are basically just copying their bosses. They're the security guard, the bouncer, for lack of a better word, for the municipal corporations and for the federal government. And they're seeing that the politicians are all a bunch of corrupt scumbags, and they're just following suit. Laws are passed like these loose cigarette laws that were passed in New York And that's what caused Eric Garner to be choked to death. It was because of a cigarette tax law. That's why those cops choked him out. The politicians throw the cops under the bus, but it's really them. They're trying to keep their constituents happy, and they use the police as their own personal security force, as well as their own personal, what do they call that when you blame other people, BZ? They do it a lot in non-Marine units.
Are you talking about from the police world? Because I call that victim shaming or victim blaming. But or if
there you go, that makes sense. That it's hypocrisy, but blame the victim. That's a good one, BZ. So really quickly, I don't want to go through this whole crazy article with you, but that summarized it really well. And so now that I've got that out of the way, I want to share something with everybody that's going to blow your mind that a lot of people don't even know about because you don't hear about this stuff on the lamestream press. So let's go ahead and check this out. This is about some corrupt judges. And I've been telling you guys about this, how judges, corrupt judges work with the private prisons to make sure that plenty of black people and poor people who can't afford a defense fill up those prisons and they get kickbacks. We see them doing the same thing with these scumbag foster parents who live off the government for foster care money, and they cut deals with these scumbag child protective service employees where they'll sell children to these foster parent homes. And now we see school teachers who want to secretly transition kids, according to many parents that I actually represent. And so I wanted to expose some things that you won't see in the mainstream news media. So here we go. Let's go ahead and watch this really quick.
2 Pennsylvania county judges walked solemnly today into U.S. District Court in Scranton. These judges found themselves on the other side of the bench, pleading guilty to a brazen and profitable scheme. Mark Chivarella and Michael Conahan faced fraud and tax charges for allegedly taking $2.6 million in kickbacks for sentencing thousands of juveniles to detention facilities run by 2 privately owned companies. Here's how prosecutors say it worked. Young offenders, often with no prior record, were brought before these judges for charges as minor as stealing change from cars or writing prank notes. The judges shipped them off to private detention facilities, which got county money to house them. In exchange...
Okay, so really quick, BZ, are you kind of seeing what I'm talking about here? The funnel, the money funnel. You know, once these government employees get their hands on the tax dollars, then it's about what can I do to make some more money, right? Take a look. Look at these guys, man. Shipping kids off to juvenile detention centers because they can't afford decent defense. Maybe they have bad parents. What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome.
All right. What do you guys think of the sidebar? By the way, everybody.
Sorry, I was just reading the comments, man. I just,
Yeah, thanks, Mama Lion. Thanks, Sacramento. Hey, SWE Observer, I'm loving it that you're always joining us. Thanks again. And hopefully you guys like the background that I tried to prepare for y'all. Let's go ahead and get back on this bad chicken. What do you say, BZ?
Oh, I've been on it. Where you been?
The judges allegedly received money for each offender. They
About
also
time, Greg.
offs for the initial construction and operation of these juvenile jails.
Just really scary there.
15-year-old Bernadine Wallace was sentenced to a month in lockup for a threatening note she posted on her MySpace page.
After a while, I was just thinking to myself, I don't deserve this. I don't think that I did that much wrong. I mean, I'm not a criminal.
Civil rights attorneys say thousands may have had their rights violated.
Frequently, there were no lawyers. Frequently, you were told before you were found guilty what the sentence was going to be by the juvenile probation department. And
Hey, Mike.
You saw the judges come out of court today.
Mike,
Yeah.
how's that?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the look of that guy? That guy looks like he's like his name's got to be Tom because he's peeping hard with them eyes.
Oh my gosh, look at those eyes. Woo! That's kind of freaky. But he's the defense guy, isn't he?
what the sentence was going to be by the juvenile probation department, and you were whisked away.
You saw the judges come out
Terrible.
of court today. What are
Yeah.
you feeling?
Angry.
Why?
I mean, look, I mean, okay, here's the deal. See the mom, guys? I mean, this is what's going on. You can tell that she's obviously, Not 100%. All right. By her look, you can tell she's not 100%. And these bad judges and cops and pretty much everyone else target the children of parents like this. And so me, as a lawyer who believes in natural law, that is disgusting to me, because these young kids are innocent. And if anything, they need help and they need mentoring. They don't need to be thrown in jail. It makes me sick to my stomach. So let's go ahead and watch the rest of this.
How do they get to walk out with all these charges? When she went in front of them, she got taken out in shackles.
Attorneys for the judges refused to comment because a plea agreement has not been finalized. The judges could face at least 7 years in federal prison. Seth Doan, CBS News, Scranton, Pennsylvania.
I mean, that's just wild to me. All right, but that's not even like anything compared to this next one. Now, this was a little older. That's why I wanted to play this other one first. But this is crazy. Watch this, guys.
The one of them need a date? I'm saying.
A judge herself for driving under the influence. The Broward County judge, Giselle Pollock, surprised many when she admitted her guilt to the courtroom.
I accept the consequences of all my actions, Your Honor, and I plead guilty.
I don't know about the music.
And it's welcome to another demonetized live stream of Delete Laws.
Why would you say that?
You think, bro, so you don't get caught.
Well, you get the idea, right, guys? I mean, this is like DUI after DUI. Now here's the problem.
Turn the music.
So here's the problem.
Tonight we're hearing from a Broward County judge.
The problem is with all this stuff is that typically when they get arrested, what they'll try and do is use the fact that they're a judge or that they have some kind of political power.
Or that they want to save the tatas and show them.
Right. They have some kind of political power, that they're a judge, right? To be able to stay out of jail. Now, the one we showed the other day, that was Judge Erica by Baliu or whatever. So she's the hot tub judge, the one who took the photographs of her with her tatas with the public defenders in the same tub.
More like cold tub judge, because she's not doing anything for me.
Yeah, cold tub justice. I love that. So, dude, you're cracking me up. So anyways, I don't really want to get in too deep into all the different stories and stuff, but I wanted to point out to everybody that this is a very common thing, and that thousands of judges have been brought up for these ethical violations, and more as the standards are being lowered, as the standards go down, they're being let off with some kind of a warning or something, and it's systemic throughout our whole system. In fact, the only people who seem to be paying for their crimes anymore are poor people for traffic infractions or misdemeanor cases where you could never really afford to even hire a lawyer for a case like that, probably. And then, of course, to file an appeal for a misdemeanor is unheard of, because, I mean, just to file an appeal, like for a Chili de Castro kind of an appeal, you're looking at about $50,000 after it's all said and done. So you have these corrupt police, politicians, and many corrupt judges relying on the fact that poor people can't defend themselves. And I think that, BZ, you've seen this firsthand, have you not?
What part?
The fact that poor people can't cover the cost to defend it.
I'll tell you right now, they can't even afford to pay attention, let alone a lawyer.
Yeah, pay attention.
But no, on the for real, I mean, look, I drive all day long. That's all I do. That's why I'm tired, guys, by the way. I just literally walked in the door 15 minutes live stream. When you're driving all day like I do, I see the crazy thing. You see the homeless people bothered. You see the people on the bicycles not bothering anybody. Somebody's got a rackety old car. They never pull over the BMWs. Definitely never pull over the Teslas. But But you're right. You know, it looks like the nicer clothes you wear, the more money you have driving a certain type of car, certain type of color as well, maybe a certain type of sex. You're just like almost untouchable. You got that privilege, and I just leave it like that.
Well, and it is a privilege, in my opinion, but I think that it also has to do with the fact that more and more public officials, government employees realize that they don't really have to fleece us for our traffic violation money. They can get money by throwing you in prison. They can get money by locking you up. The governmental agencies make a lot of money, but I think it's over $120,000 a year to lock a homeless person up. I mean, BZ, you should know this with all your public records request background, that the prison system makes an enormous amount of money by locking people away. And the last thing they need is somebody like me with a car that's registered to a lawyer. They're going to pull over the other guy because they know that I will defend myself, and they count on that.
Cops lie regardless. I've already had to deal with the cops twice on a police report, and both those police reports do not tell what the camera tells.
Right. That's right. That's right. And I think they use a lot of like templates, right? Like boilerplate.
One on the police report called me a First Amendment auditor. I never even mentioned it.
Yeah, and they're trained to do that by, I think it was like March 4th, where the FBI got busted for illegally spying on Americans by using their banking data and then trying to classify anyone who wants to own a gun as a domestic violent extremist. And they also classified anybody who wants to fight a traffic ticket or photograph police as a sovereign citizen and a violent extremist. So our government has notified local law enforcement that people who try to hold the government accountable are more than likely to be a domestic violent extremist. So that's probably why they're doing that, because the federal government, the Biden/Obama FBI has decided that military veterans and people who support the Constitution are potential domestic violent extremists, unfortunately. And that's going to continue happening until there's a regime change. Now, in the sidebar, Booker Daly says, we have to comply when you committed no crime, and they got to have a crime. No way I will stand and let anyone take my freedom unless committed a crime. It's you as a person who will have to say. Well, Booker, I appreciate that. And BZ, we've had these conversations before. The problem is, if you try to fight someone who's got a Glock 21, you're going to lose every time. So the only way, right, BZ? I mean, tell me what your thoughts are on that.
Well, let me tell you guys a story. And Mike, I haven't told you this story. So back on February 8th, I believe it was February 8th. I have a friend who no longer works at the local gas station that I go to. I won't mention the name of it. And I'm just going to call her M for right now. But M ended up having her boyfriend go help her friend out on the highway for a flat tire. And in that city that I just had some issues with, the same city that I've had issues with, he pulled over to the side of the road, realized that she was on the opposite shoulder on the left side, tried to cut across. And I guess in this meantime, a Arlington Police Department officer came up behind and decided to walk up to the car and rip his door open and start escalating the whole situation right away. Regarding to, why he went across the 4 lanes of traffic or whatever it is, all of a sudden, why he didn't see him behind him and everything else. So anyways, bottom line is another officer showed up. They instantly tried to drag him out of the car. He climbed the passenger seat, went for his pistol and was aiming it down at the floorboard. The cops drew down and were yelling and hollering, and before he could do anything and lift a finger, they just blasted him 4 times, 3 times in the head and 1 time in the chest, and killed him on the way to the hospital. So unfortunately, we didn't even get to the traffic stop on that ride before things escalated so bad that he lost his life. He didn't just go to the dungeon, he lost his life. And at the end of the day, when you fight back, like climbing into that seat and trying to fear for your life, in try to protect yourself against the armed men, whether they wear badges or not, things still go. I mean, would you rather be in jail than dead? Because I mean, Really, that's what it ultimately happened that day in a matter of probably 5 minutes. It went from traffic stop and opening a car door, which I would think would be a Fourth Amendment violation for just opening a car door.
Absolutely, and the fruits would be poisonous, right?
Yeah, and as an ex-felon, because he had a gun in his possession, he got so scared that he went on the other side and drew down, and with that, and he known his rights, knew the law, invoked his Fifth Amendment right. Maybe that would not. I'm not saying that it 100% would have, but being able to know your rights and learn the law, like Chili teaches on his trifold right here, probably could have saved his life, because it didn't just hurt him; it hurt his mother, who had to come all the way from California to retrieve his body, and he also had to deal with his girlfriend at the time, which is my friend M, from basically about probably 6 weeks of just trying to get to the fact that he was actually gone before she could actually start grieving. So I hate to throw that sad story on you guys, but I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. Bottom line is, no matter how you deal with the cops, and I tell Mike this all the time when I do my audits, my rights are going to be violated either way. The best thing to do is be able to leave on my own 2 feet without torture cuffs and a ride to the free ride dungeon.
Avoid the torture cuffs at all costs.
At all costs.
But if you do get locked up, like BZ's saying, if they do put you in torture cuffs and they want to throw you in their cruiser, if you fight back, there's a high likelihood that you could be seriously injured or even killed. And there's also a high likelihood that they'll put your cuffs on, your torture cuffs, extra tight. And so as a civil rights attorney, I've represented several people who have lost one or both hands, amputation, as a result of the torture cuffs, or just permanent nerve damage where their hands are all effed up. So like if you fight back against these road pirates, you're going to end up getting hurt. And unless you live in a community that has a sheriff who really believes in their duties and the oath, you'll end up with some municipal cop who just goes down the party line. Whatever political party's in power, that's how they're going to enforce the laws. As we saw in New York with the Eric Garner case, they choked the guy to death because he was selling loose cigarettes for $3, and the city wanted to raise cigarette taxes. The local shopkeepers threatened to close down and move away because homeless people were standing in front of their cigarette stores selling loose cigarettes without paying taxes, because you could walk across to New Jersey because they're more of a free state. Believe it or not, hard to believe New Jersey or New York would ever be considered even close to being free states. But in this case, New Jersey was more free than the ultra leftist communist state of New York. And so in this particular case, the New York City cops decided to kill this guy, and they upheld the policy. And so policy enforcement is the main reason why people are getting killed, which is why I love this logo behind me, Delete Laws, because we should be electing law enforcement and sheriffs and legislators based upon laws that they want to delete. We should not be electing politicians based on laws they want to pass. We should be deleting laws, because arguably every time a law is passed, one of your freedoms or more of your freedoms are being eroded away. And so that's why I firmly believe in the concept of deleting laws. And that's why I'm here with you guys today. Even though I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court, or whatever, I'm also a constitutionalist, and I support the Bill of Rights, and I'm a natural law theorist. So many of the ideals and values that Chili has, I have, and I believe that BZ also has. Right, BZ?
I do. And actually, I heard a saying the other day, and I actually I can honestly say that I kind of liked it. It started out like this. Do you know we have 4 branches of government? We got the judicial, the legislative, and the executive branch. Well, the 4th branch is we the people branch, because we're out there making sure that we're the checks and balances of a corrupt and tyrannical government, or as like Mike likes to say, the Leviathan.
Leviathan.
The Leviathan.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I liked that the other day, and more people to get out there with your cameras, man. Know your rights, learn the law. I'm gonna go into one of these real quick, Mike.
Yeah, we put you up so they can see you.
Let me do this. I have to. Oops, wrong button. I think I hit my. Hang on a second. There we go. Wait. Oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I got it figured out.
Copy that.
Just
hurry up, or I'm going to start singing cadence. Oh,
I got it.
Oh.
Man, it's just I've never had a
Hurry up.
screen. Okay,
Hurry up.
So, right there.
Hurry up.
See that screen?
Yep.
You got to learn the law, know your rights. Anytime you get stopped by the police, always step one, invoke your rights. Invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Don't ask them where, don't let them know where you're going, where you're coming from. If you've been drinking, don't consent to any searches and seizures. Right to film the police. Always make sure you film the cop's face. I'm trying to do it like Chili, but I'm like way off here. Basically, you have all of your steps right here on this wonderful trifold. Lets you know your rights, learn them. Even has some case law on there for you. What Chili's got me doing right now is if you go over to deletelaws.com, purchase one of his lovely, colorful, indestructible trifolds. He will throw in a set of 5A cop cards, which are a lot like this, like debit card, room key type deal. One's for a driver, one's for a non-driver to basically follow the script. Make sure you get home at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's not about officer safety. It's about citizen safety. So make sure you get home. With that said, back over to you, Mike.
That's right. And so I think what BZ is also trying to say is what Chili DeCastro has said is if you get a trifold from BZ from the show today and today only, if you mention BZ in your email or whatever it is that you're clicking on to buy the trifold. Yeah, in the comment, put BZ Watchdog said I would get a free cop card if I bought this trifold today. So mention that so they make sure to send you the cop card. And of course, I always make sure to tell everybody as you're looking at the trifolds, make sure to do your own research as well, because you may find a state court case in your local jurisdiction that makes more sense. But as a general rule, from what I've seen, he's arguing the general principles that the Supreme Court has mentioned as being holding. I need to do some additional research on it, but BZ, I noticed that yours looks like it had some battle damage. Tell me how that happened.
It gets used quite a bit. Yes, it has some battle damage, but
okay.
This thing I've had it. I mean, it's got some scratches on it because. I'm gonna say the dog started to get to it a little bit in the car. So if it can get through him, because he's got, if you look at the picture behind me, that's Brownie right there.
Yeah.
He's mixed with Pit Bull, Chocolate Lab, Kelpie, and Husky. So if that trifold can outlast him, that trifold really is indestructible.
I believe it. So we've got. Hold on, we got some comments in the sidebar. Justice 411s says BZ's trifold has been in battle.
Hey, I see the one up there by Natural Born Scorpio. I was kind of laughing when you were talking. Somebody told me there was a Chili autographed trifold on sale on eBay for $100.
Gee whiz, man. And then Brian says it's the dude from the Six Flags commercial. Is that me? I don't know. I haven't seen this.
Nah, it's all the trolls in here trying hot like on me again. But that's all right, man. BZ the Hut. You go back and tell your friends over there.
Oh, right. But I like what Rick has to say.
No, he's hitting me with. Oh, never mind. I was reading something there and I almost took it the wrong way.
Never don't record. Just remember that, guys. And where's the mods, man? It looks like we got a bunch of communist Chinese in the comment section over here who hate their country. What's going on?
Hey,
haven't any of these people read the Bill of Rights? The Constitution was designed to bind public servants with the chains of the Constitution. That's what made our country great. Why do you support a government that has control over we the people? We should be controlling them.
Hey, Michael Quintana agrees with me. I ain't no Chili DeCastro, and trust me. Oh, speaking of which, guys, at the end of this live stream, I actually talked to Chili on the phone Friday, so I'll kind of let you guys not in on a little clandestine operations going on.
Well, why don't you tell us about some
I guess
of
they
them?
won't be so clandestine then, huh?
Well, let's go ahead and nuke these anti-American communists from the sidebar first. Can somebody please help me get rid of these anti-American communists who hate their country and want to subjugate us under the World Economic Forum and the WHO? Can someone please help me do that? Go ahead, BZ. Keep talking, buddy.
Oh man, now you put me on the spot. What do you want to talk about now? I mean,
Well, now that we have 1,020 people in here, let's see if you can make it go up to 1,400.
How about this? I really think that hot time tub machine chick is in really hot water. No,
You think so?
Yeah. Hey, I was trying to tell it, hot water, get it? Hot tub. Trying to tell
Oh,
it.
yeah. That's awesome.
Father's Day, dude. Come on, man.
That's awesome. So what BZ's talking about is Erica Baliu. She's the Nevada judge who, the hot tub judge, we like to call her.
Now she's in hot water.
And she's in hot water. We've just been exposing these corrupt cops doing OnlyFans videos and these corrupt judges.
Hey, what about this? Remember how we always talk about how the cops go with nurses and teachers? What about the teacher that was trying to get an OnlyFans page with Quanon or Quanon or whatever his name is?
I don't know what that is, but tell me more.
The teacher that filmed the thing inside the classroom.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Didn't I do a video about that?
Yes, that's why.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was wild.
Cops, nurses, and teachers, and then we started off the week with a teacher. A couple of days later, we started getting in all these judges and cops and everything else with these OnlyFans.
It's so weird, because when I grew up, we pledged allegiance to the flag, and public servants were just happy to make their small pension. And now you see like all these public servants, they're all trying to get like an OnlyFans page or an Instagram channel, and they're looking for likes, and they're all trying to get a job with CNN. There's like really no stability in our administrative systems anymore. It's just like a bunch of attention-seeking narcissists, and they find themselves in positions of power. And now you're seeing
Mike has no mic.
Now you're seeing the judiciary being filled with these incompetent individuals, and it's like almost a mystery as to how they were even able to pass the bar exam. And now we have the pilot bar exam. Maxine Waters is pushing this big time. The pilot bar exam where you no longer have to take the bar exam because it's racist. So now you can just like get a bunch of lawyers to sign for you, right? Kind of like getting a job at the post office. Get a bunch of your family members to sign for you, right? Guaranteed.
Oh my God, you don't got to remember.
Right.
I think I'm still running into family members every post office I go into.
Dude, the whole post office is just based on.
It's in shambles, man.
Based on nepotism, from what I've heard, and tax subsidized, and they lie on their website and say that it's solely funded from profits when we all know that they're subsidized by the government because they can't profit because they're run by incompetent buffoons.
Well, I mean, if they could even get close to breaking even, I'd be happy. But a $6.5 billion loss in 2023, shut the front door.
Well, how can the Democrats win elections if they can't rely on the post office to transport ballots for them?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I wonder if the $6.5 billion loss got sucked into somebody's campaign's funds.
Who knows? But we know the vast majority of their campaign funding donations from postal employees go to the Democrat Party. And we know now that they have vote by mail, it's very suspect to at least half the country, at least the people I've spoken to, as to whether or not these votes are even valid. And so there's a lot of people who just don't trust the government or the voting system, and they just think that it's all corrupt. And I was hoping that we could educate people so we could try and form our own parallel systems and rely less and less upon these corrupt politicians and corrupt academics who rely on plagiarism to stay in power. What do you have to say about that, BZ?
Man, all I'm saying are there's a bunch of corrupt there, but I'm not even going to go on my soapbox right now. The post office is killing me, man. It's been like I know you know this, Mike. I know I get on my soapbox about this, but that is like a thorn in my side. I've made it my mission, like my crusade, because I'm getting tired of the $6.5 billion loss last year. Can we blame that on Trump, Hunter, or Mr. Fauci? I mean,
man, I just think we can blame it on the great Leviathan, because anytime you have centralized power and you have corporations that have convinced politicians to make them not be liable for their torts, like pharmaceutical industry, you have a get out of jail free card and billions of dollars that you can rely on to always stay in power as a politician. So it's really based upon when I was growing up, a politician who violated their oath of office would walk away in shame. Richard Nixon, case in point. He violated his oath of office and he walked away. And then the next one to come along and violate their oath of office, Bill Clinton, didn't walk away. And that set a precedence that it's okay to be a scumbag and stay in power and lie under oath. And so because of that, we need to make a sea change in how we look at who we hire to run our country. And it needs to be based on people who know the law and mean to keep it well. And I recommend to everyone in my sidebar to study the works of St. Thomas Aquinas, because Aquinas talked about, and so did Sir William Blackstone, talked about having leaders who are of high moral values and character. You cannot hire people who are scumbags and expect to have less of a result than a scumbag result. Case in point, Gavin Newsom. Millions of people are fleeing the state of California, and he's passing these crazy laws to strip parents of their rights. And like Harvey Milk Day, I mean, Harvey Milk was like illegally getting it on with minors, and they made a day after him. I mean, things like this should really upset people, but for some reason it's not, and they're just getting away with it. So I'm counting on people like you to educate your friends and family members. We cannot allow corrupt politicians to destroy our families any further. And now, BZ, I know that you don't have a wife and kids, but as a Marine and whatnot, I know that you support the Constitution. How do you feel about what's going on with our schools and our judges and our police?
Well, first off, I think you and anybody else in here that was in the service can agree that we took that oath pretty well. Seriously. Me, I kind of still feel like once you take an oath, you should always uphold it, or you break that oath, even if you're out of the service. You know, you try to always do the honorable thing and protect the Constitution, like your oath says, and other things. Because I know cops have slightly different oaths, judges have different oaths. I mean, I know there's probably a generic oath of office in each state or whatever, from what I'm finding. But these people that take these oaths in any kind of first responder, profession, they should take these seriously, hold themselves to a higher standard. I don't understand how, like, when you put that uniform on, how you don't have pride wearing it.
Yeah, amen. It's like in the Marine Corps, we had grooming standards, we had fitness standards, and that's why everybody could tell a Marine apart from anyone else just by our bearing and discipline. And the standards are what make the Marine, and the standards are what make the judge. The standards are what make the cop. The standards are what make the teacher. And all those standards have been washed down the toilet in favor of wokeism and this new demonic Luciferian religion where parents no longer have rights. They have these trans rights, this World Economic Forum agenda where there is no such thing as natural rights. And the problem is, guys, is the administrative state supports that. The administrative state supports the World Economic Forum agenda, but our Bill of Rights is diametrically opposed to that whole entire thought process. When one of the main people, Airy over at WEF, says there's no such thing as natural rights and we're basically just chimpanzees, what he's trying to do is lower the value of human life. That's all it is, and that's all the whole population control agenda is about. It's lowering human life. These billionaires want this planet for themselves. There's only one billionaire I know of who's actually spoken out against that, and that's Elon Musk. What do you have to say about that, BZ? Because a lot of people say that Elon Musk is no different than the other billionaires. Do you know anything about that?
Okay, so I have a secondhand story that was told to me about it. You call him Elon, I call him Elon. So
okay,
maybe it's just where we're from, I guess. I hear he's very eccentric, and he's very kind of keeps to himself, and he's always surrounded with security guards. So basically, when he walks in through his buildings, nobody's supposed to make eye contact. Nobody's supposed to approach him. Not greetings and salutations of any kind. And for somebody, I guess, to be that ingenious, and I would say he's got some probably antisocial or anti-narcissist kind of thing going on. I'm sure there's a little screw loose because he has the money, but a lot of crazy people are usually because they're highly intelligent. But
that's true.
I'm just saying. Highly intelligent. Sometimes they get a straight up narcissist, but sometimes they're there's the word I was looking for. Elon is more like a recluse. I was just trying to gather my thoughts up as I'm reading the text in the chats, but Elon, yeah, nobody's allowed to approach him. Nobody's allowed to talk to him. Nothing. He's going in there. He's got like 12 security guards surrounding him.
Well, that kind of makes sense, because if he didn't, he'd probably have 1 million people. But I totally get it, brother. That anytime, and look, when I was really rolling, it went to my head too. And it really does. And you got to get humbled sometimes. And maybe it's his time. But in the interim, what he did by exposing the Twitter files and exposing how there's a revolving door employment scheme between the FBI, CIA, and all these far left woke social media companies, where they lied about the Hunter Biden laptop and went along with the false narrative that it was Russian disinformation when they knew it wasn't the whole time, so they could influence an election. None of those people have ever been held accountable. And so it makes me sick and disgusted that there is basically a two-tier justice system in this country, and that it looks like the administrative state has basically taken control over our vote, because no matter how we vote, these administrators, these career government employees, have the power to destroy our lives lock, stock, and barrel. And so I'm telling everybody in the sidebar that the best thing that I can think of as a true red-blooded American, apple pie eating American, is that the best thing that we can do is to form parallel systems with like-minded individuals, explore homeschooling, explore homesteading, and try to divest yourself from this very corrupt and what many people call a Luciferian system. And now, BZ, I know that this is a little bit beyond what we normally talk about, but has anybody ever said anything about this to you?
No.
All right.
You got to remember, man, I don't hang out with you sophisticated people on the West Coast. I'm down here in like bumpkin country, Texas, man.
Well, that's probably why you don't have the problem that all the real Americans, the patriots who are fleeing Gavin Newsom's California have. It's unbelievable. I'm doing a show at 5:30 on the Michael Eline channel, and we're going to talk about it, about what's going on with the education system. We're going to talk about this drunk teacher and how she was able to keep her job. And then we're going to go into this new legislation that Gavin Newsom will definitely sign that allows public school teachers to keep the secret transgendering of their children, of the children of parents, secret. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how the Attorney General doesn't think that parents have human rights. In loco parentis doesn't really apply when it comes to the leftist state and how they want to destroy and control the minds of your children. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later today, and about how we can fight back against the administrative state in California. And you're right, BZ, in Texas, parents don't have that problem because they don't have a bunch of whack jobs from San Francisco and Sacramento controlling the policy of normal Americans who live in San Diego, San Bernardino, and parts of Orange County. Instead, all these whack job Luciferians are controlling the agenda of California. And that's why, so many parents and people of traditional family values are moving to Texas, Florida, and Nevada. And I'm sure you've seen that, right?
I was just getting ready to say that, but you got there before I did. I was going to say that's how we're smarting up Texas. We're having to move all the smart Californians here.
Well, the problem is, from what I'm hearing from people that I've met in Texas, as soon as I say you're from California, they immediately say, please don't bring all that liberal bullshit into my state. Please get in the airplane and immediately leave. And I don't blame them for saying that, because it's easy to vote for free things. It's easy to vote to destroy your infrastructure where you live in order to get handouts from your neighbor. But at the end of the day, socialism always fails because ultimately you run out of someone else's money. And so in the Marine Corps, they taught us to earn and be meritorious. And that's why the people come and watch me on my channel and the people in the sidebar like me, because they know that if they hire me as their lawyer, come hell or high water, I'm going to keep fighting. And I'm not going to say, make up some excuse because I'm not tall enough, because I'm the wrong race, or that I'm a victim. I'm going to fight for them till the end. And those standards are what set the difference. Just like you, BZ, you've got a very similar background in training as a Marine. It doesn't really matter how smart you are in this world to me. What matters is that you're reliable. And I'm sure you feel that way too about people in your life, right?
Well, I came from that era where, yeah, people are reliable. Your word is your word, and honest, integrity, courage, commitment, all that good Marine Corps stuff that we learned. It was instilled in generations, but now it seems like people, all these youngsters that I run into, it's like, oh, you're late for work? Yeah, I'm like 20 minutes late. I said, you call your boss? No, just show up whenever I show up. So I guess these businesses and these places don't even care about reliability anymore. I had one lady the other day that said 2 of her employees didn't even show up for work. So, and they're all young people. So I don't think in today's world, Mike, reliability to the newer generation matter, but for us, old generation, being reliable,
everything.
But yeah, people being reliable,
everything.
Yes, it's just and I still show up 15 minutes early anytime I go, or just because you don't know if you're going to run into a hiccup or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I'm just using reliability as far as being on time for places, just as a. But I hope there would be some reliable people I can rely on if I ever get put in torture cuffs and take that free ride to the dungeon.
That's right. And Mark Obvious with exclamation brings up something. He says, I'm honestly tired of the party line BS. Keep politics in the family and learn how to speak to each other. And, I'll be honest, when I was growing up, Democrats and Republicans both pledged allegiance to the flag. And what makes me pissed is when I go to a Democrat rally, they're waving rainbow flags and they're burning American flags. And so that's where I draw the line, because I love my country. And I don't understand how that is even acceptable. Can anybody tell me in the sidebar what the heck is going on in our country? Do you have any ideas, BZ? What's the deal with the whole waving these other flags other than the flag of your country and burning American flags?
I don't know, man. I'm going to tell you guys straight up. I mean, I grew up as a Democrat, young, because my family came from Democrats, coming from California. You're right. The comment I just saw up here, I'm trying to think whose comment it was. Let me go back up here for a second.
Mark Obvious.
Party line. About keeping the religion at home. I saw not the religion, the political stuff at home. The politics at home. I'm trying to find it. Damn it.
Here, I'll read it to you. It says, I'm honestly tired of the party line BS. Keep politics in the family and learn how to speak to each other.
Yes. And you know what's funny is me and Brick Jonesy were talking about this, I believe, yesterday or this morning, about how, the dad is always the head of the household. What the dad says political wise goes. I think it was earlier today. And that, be able to come up with another form of voting other than electoral votes and from the popular vote. And the reason we were talking about all this is because now we have 50 states, even though we have territories. We don't need to expand on states anymore. We're where we're at with 50 states as of 1959. Why don't we go from a electoral to a modified electoral, since nobody likes the populist, nobody likes the electoral. And we came up with this little solution that is kind of like a little complicated. We'll go back to later, but we were talking about how the dad is the head of the household. If he's a Democrat, then the whole family's Democrat. They talk about it at home over a dinner table. And that's kind of how things were in the 50s, the 60s, and probably some of the 70s, when a lot of that stuff started veering off when, with the war, people were losing their fathers and didn't have that head of household anymore. And I think that's how we became a police state. And I hate to go down the rabbit hole, but there's a lot more to that later.
Yeah. Well, I like what you're saying, buddy, because I don't like this whole division about, oh, you're a Trumper or you're a Democrat or whatever.
Keep it
Because
at home, man.
because that's what the deep state wants. The great Leviathan are the ones who are creating this division. BlackRock, this large corporation, they're the ones who are pushing this Luciferian thing in like the Target stores and pushing this trans agenda in the public schools. It's being done to divide us because when we're fighting amongst each other, all these billionaire power brokers in the military industrial complex, it enables them to have more power and control over us. And it also enables the ability for these scumbag politicians to pass more public safety laws to protect people from violence. That's what it's all about.
Not public safety laws, policies.
But they call it public safety. It's always done under the pretext of protecting you.
Of this,
but ultimately,
in this day and age, we're going to do it for safety and security.
Passing laws means less freedom. That's all. When you pass a law, it takes away someone's freedoms.
Yep.
That's all it does.
I agree.
That's what it does.
You know what?
Now, there's always exceptions, but yeah.
How about we just disband all police, put a gun on everybody's hip, and we just go back to natural law?
Well, I think we already kind of have that as the basis of our law now, because municipal police have no duty to protect people. It's your job to protect yourself.
That's not what they told me in my last audit video.
Well, then they're wrong, because the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on countless times and occasions that as a general rule, municipal police have no duty to protect you. Go ahead.
I'm going to stop you there because I told him that same thing, and he goes, well, I haven't heard such Supreme Court ruling like that.
Well, remember, the Supreme Court also gave police the right to lie. So do you even believe what he said to be true? And that's the other problem people have, is there's just no trust.
When you see this guy in this video in about 3 weeks, because I'm still editing it, you're going to sit there and go, you don't even believe the guy's even a cop. I mean, just by looking at him.
Well, nothing surprises me anymore. By the way, yeah, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And then BZ, I need you to kind of tell people what to do if they do get pulled over by a cop, and turn off your green screen, because I want people to know what Chili DeCastro and BZ do when they get pulled over.
Hey, don't do what we do. Just do what we do. Just do what we tell you to do. By the law, trifold. Learn the law, know your rights. Boom. First step, always invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I don't answer questions. Doesn't just work. You must invoke your right and not waive your rights. Next step, build the cop's face. Always show that camera. I mean, I'm not saying do this in his face, but make sure you get the cop's face. Make sure you do it so that way you can ID him later, because, the chronicle files of the body camera video always go missing. So, but Chili has authorized me to do, if you buy one of these awesome trifolds that are nice and colorful and on destructible paper, he's going to go ahead and throw in a set of 5A cop cards with your purchase. All you do is let them know that BZ Watchdog sent you over, and order those. And they usually take, I think, about 5 to 7 business days to get, because they come in the snail mail post office. Trust me, I've been in there. But I thought I was missing something on that trifold. But did I miss anything?
Well, I think you're supposed to tell them that if they mention BZ Watchdog's name.
I said that. I said that.
I think you nailed it, bro. Yep.
I mean,
so now
it does have some battle scars. This thing's got a purple heart. It's got a purple heart on it.
So Marcavius says, how do I sign up to talk to you in a panel interview format? So first of all, I'm not DLZ. I am just a guest speaker. I'm a lawyer, and I represent the guy who owns this channel in some out-of-state California matters. And I'm just helping out because I'm a natural law theorist, and I also teach a course on how to become a lawyer without law school. And I was fascinated by Mr. DeCastro's understanding of natural law, because natural law is where all American law comes from. And if you don't support the concept that all of your rights come from a creator and that they're unalienable, then you don't support the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It's pure and simple, because that is, John Locke is considered to be the father of our Bill of Rights. Thomas Jefferson quoted John Locke in many of the statements that he made about freedom and natural law and natural rights. So Chili DeCastro fascinated me, because most lawyers.
Your mic.
Most lawyers don't even know what natural law or natural rights are because they go to a government-run school with a bunch of leftist professors. They come out of there tainted and not really even understanding what the Bill of Rights is about or what the powder houses were, the reason for our revolution, why we have a Second Amendment. They're just sort of brainwashed in this academic system that tilts far, far left. And so none of these lawyers that I've met in recent history really even have a handle on legal history. And so it was fascinating to run across a guy like Chili DeCastro, who actually is a legal scholar. Sure, he's not a lawyer. Sure, he might be wrong sometimes, just like I am, just like lawyers.
But he's a damn fine constitutional law scholar.
I think that he does I think that he's going to get better in time. I think that if he enters the law office study program and starts trying cases with me as a certified law student and starts doing depositions, that he'll be able to get a better handle on what he's doing as an auditor and as a civil rights, by then, hopefully, attorney. So anyways, just to let you know, Markavius, if you want to come on my channel, I'm sure I could have you on as a guest. At this point, I'm really only authorized by Chili to have BZ on because BZ has shown through merit that he's earned his place to be here by going out and hustling and getting these public records requests, holding public officials accountable. And so now here he is with us.
In other words, you can say I've earned my film rim.
You've earned yes, you have. And then Will J. Rockstar says, love how you handle shit, bro. I'm assuming that he's talking to you, BZ, because I also love the way you handle shit too, man.
Oh, like especially like this morning, I put that guy in his place quick. There you go, guys. Yeah. Look here. Let me do that real quick. Just so you guys know that I ain't BSing. Everybody wants a little piece of chili in here. I had to cover up my address because he sent it to me. That's actually Chili's handwriting.
Oh, wow.
In fact, look right there. I don't know if you can see that, Mike.
That looks pretty cool. And I don't see any lipstick on there, so I guess that means that
right there. It's the sent right there from the Nevada Clark County Detention Center. So
the Zimmerman Department of Corrections.
Oh man, I ain't lying. What I'm gonna do, guys, I'm either gonna make a video with audio or I'm gonna do some maybe a live sometime this week and actually read Chili's letter. He's told me to go ahead and do that and read that to you guys. It's more addressed for me, but he told me to be great to share with you guys, just so you guys know that his spirits are high. He's doing great. He's only got about 3 weeks left of the dungeon. And Justice, yes, I'm going to sell that trifle that's been through battle with Chili DeCastro's signature for
a bunch of OTVOs in the sidebar right now for BZ. Let's see 100 of them.
But you know what? There might not have been lipstick on there, but it does smell a little pepperish, like a little chili.
Oh, but, that's terrible.
I know, but you know what? I came back with that joke a little late, but it would have been funny if I would have been on it when you made the comment about the lipstick.
Hey, thanks, Will Rockstar, for the OTVOs, as well as you, Casey Cox, Kurt Bronson, Chevy, Will R, J Sharp, Steve Z, Let's OTVO, Kurt Bronson, Brick Jonesy. Man, everybody's just blowing it up, raising the roof for BZ.
Oh, I thought that OTVO was for overturned Terry versus Ohio, because I'm with it on that one.
Yeah, give me a bunch of ones.
There you go. But no, man, he's in real good spirits. He's got about 3 weeks. I've been saying it nonstop for about, I don't know what, Mike, for about 3 months now, 2 months, that he's going to get his appeal. I mean, that's how I feel. I'm 100% confident, because if the judge is watching now, there would be some heavy public outcry if he's not. It would be media career / judge / hot tub holy fans kind of dying career by not granting it. I'm just saying. But
well, I hope that you're right. I don't really have a whole lot of confidence, just based upon the fact that the prior lawyer, in my opinion, did not build a very strong record. However, I am confident that his rights were violated.
Actually,
I am confident.
What's that? Let me touch on that real quick, because I did some open records and some more information on this.
Okay.
Do you know that normally they won't hear an appeals on a misdemeanor charge? Okay. They don't go by the facts of the case, so it doesn't matter. There's only 3 things that qualify. It only has to be one of those 3 things to qualify to have an appeals granted for a misdemeanor charge. One was a violation of constitutional rights. Not only was his rights violated out there with Bork the Dork, but I feel that the 4th Amendment was violated in that courtroom as well by seizing of his phones. I mean, I read the rules there. As long as you don't video record, you can audio record, you can text, you can email, you can take notes on a laptop. Hell, you can even bust out the old pen and paper if you wanted to and sketch or whatever. But those were the rules. But I feel constitutional rights, 2 on one case. 2, a biased judge, which we obviously saw, from that hour and a half, like tragedy that it was, because it wasn't even a circus show. I mean, dude, come on, let's go. And then 3, denied him counsel because, if I recall, wasn't Chili trying to represent himself and Michael Mee was supposed to be co-counsel?
Well, my understanding is that Chili wanted to use him as substitute counsel, but a lawyer would have had to have been prepared irrespective of what the client wanted, because ultimately it's his case. Wasn't
he actually denied counsel? Because I could have sworn Chili was going to represent himself and Michael Mee was at least that's from
I don't think that's the case, but
on all 3 bounds of refusal of counsel, biased judge, and a violation of constitutional rights, one of those 3, if they're proven, usually overturn a conviction. In this case, I feel Chili's got all 3. So
let's hope so. Let's hope so, because the lower court record doesn't reflect any objections. I don't see a motion to suppress ever having been filed. So there's a lot of issues here that really make me angry, because if I had been licensed in Nevada, I would have done all of those things pro forma as a matter of course. I don't understand it.
Michael Mee said at one point, I heard him in the trial, I mean, he didn't really fight the objection, but he objected once, if I recall, and said something about, but Your Honor, this is a motion for a First Amendment case that was submitted. And she said motion denied. And that was it.
Well, yeah, but that was because of a civil procedural issue of not filing within the filing guidelines.
But wouldn't that go back to being a biased judge? Because
now it falls within the court's discretion, and there's a timeliness issue that the other party didn't have an opportunity to brief and file a reply. So there's a lot of, but I'm with you, brother. I mean, I'm just telling you, because I know you're not a lawyer, but I just want to let you guys know that I want him to win, but I'm also telling you that if you guys don't do this right from the beginning, you're in trouble. If you're going to represent yourself, you better know what the hell you're doing.
It's better.
And if you're doing it in Nevada, you better not do it at all. You better hire a lawyer that knows what the hell they're doing.
Just take my advice. Don't get thrown in the dungeon. Go home on your own 2 feet. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah, I think so too. But you also have to understand that you do have the right to be a dick to police. You do have a right to be confrontational. When you have vague and ambiguous statutes and codes that can be interpreted by any plethora of officers in any 1,000,001 in different ways, then you have problems. And so that needs to be addressed. And so I believe that these laws that the officer used to make this false arrest are so vague and ambiguous that they should be deemed unenforceable. And the fact that there was a camera involved and we don't even have the exculpatory evidence that should have been used at trial shows me that there's major legal malpractice afoot here. Chili DeCastro's photographic evidence and videotaped evidence should have been admitted into evidence. It should have been entered into evidence. So somebody in the sidebar, tell me what you think.
Somebody that you have rights, cop have duties. He says, I have proof that Ann Zimmerman was in violation of NRS, and I really want him to finish that sentence because I want to know what NRS code it is.
Well, I want him to contact BZ Watchdog with that. It has to do with Nevada regulatory something or the other.
Nevada revised statutes. Remember,
Nevada revised statute. That's right. Obviously, I'm not a Nevada attorney. I just, if I look at criminal stuff, I'm thinking PC or CPC.
Nah.
But
it's just like here, it's Texas Penal Code. I don't get why they just couldn't stick with one acronym.
So Cat I Am Intuitive asks, why wasn't his video entered? And well, since I was not attorney of record and I don't have any evidence to look at that would show me that, I really don't have the answer to that. But I can tell you this, that it should have been entered into evidence because he could have easily verified it and laid a foundation of its veracity.
Oh, no, they didn't enter it because then Bork the Dork would be wrong and Chili would be in the right. Of course they couldn't do it. Let's suppress it.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even know that it was entered to be able to be suppressed. So there's just a lot of issues that I'm concerned with. And so that's why I try to teach people how to become lawyers. Even if you don't want to go to law school or get your bar card, at least know the law and mean to keep it well. In this society, this legalistic society that has been thrust upon us by the administrative Leviathan, the only way you can even get a somewhat of a chance to be successful is to be a lawyer now. I mean, let's face it, if you don't know the law, you're screwed, especially if you're poor. So again, form loose confederations with like-minded people, just like Martin Luther King did, and you can take back the administrative state and take back control over your lives. The problem is once you start having good times, you start letting these scumbags take over the administrative state again. They'll start running for school board. They'll do exactly what they did in California. And eventually, they'll have control of your child's mind. And if that's what you're okay with, move to California. If you're not, move to a free state. So I want to go ahead and close this up because I'm starting my show in a few minutes over at the Michael Eline channel.
Don't move to Texas. We got enough of you here already.
Don't move to Texas unless you believe in the Second Amendment and you support family values. I agree with BZ.
Don't move to Texas unless you got a fiddle in the band. Oh, never mind. Wrong song.
If you don't like Charlie Daniels, don't move to Texas, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, if you got exes, don't come to Texas because they all live there.
Yeah. That's great. So everybody in the sidebar, I just want to say my goodbyes and make sure to join me at the Michael Eline channel at 5:30. M. Shamaz, thank you, Mr. Shamaz, for coming up. Kinetic, thank you for showing up. Shock Prof, as always, thank you. Bruce, always. Jay Sharp, Mike B, Natural Born Scorpio, I'm loving it. Even all you communist scumbags that we weren't able to kick out, love you guys for coming at least. It shows me that you're jealous and you actually have penis envy, so I'm glad you made it. And then Brick Jonesy, as always, thank you. Ripple Effect, thank you for showing up. Mark Niradel, thank you for showing up. Larry Kelly, Shock Prof, all you guys, Goat Buddy, hopefully you're not Taliban. Race Gas, showing up. And by the way, okay, so guys, you got to work with me before I do my closings. As you guys both know, BZ and I were Marines. And I'm trying to get him to do a freaking cadence contest with me, and he wouldn't do it. But I want to do like a 10-second. Well, let's do a 15-second cadence each. Give me a bunch of ones if BZ's the winner, and a bunch of twos if I'm the winner. So go first, BZ.
Nah, age before beauty.
All right, man. All right. Oh. Okay, your turn, BZ.
That was okay. You're bumping.
Oh man, you're kicking my ass.
That's it. That's all you get from my voice. Has been cracking all day anyway.
Dude, that was freaking awesome. Okay, everybody. So a bunch of ones for me, and a bunch of twos for BZ. Who won, BZ or me?
I love Gloria.
One for me, twos for BZ.
She gave us an even split. Let's go TVO. You know.
Jay Sharp gave it to BZ, man.
I don't know. I see ones in there too, Mike.
I don't see any ones. Oh man. Oh, we got a 0.
Was there really?
Oh, thanks, Kurt.
Oh,
Jay Sharp gave me some freaking ones.
I think they agree. I think we just call it a tie because the Marine's a Marine, cadence is cadence.
Okay, so check this out, man. So after,
Uh-oh, ripple effect gave us there. Oh, he got a badge next to his name, man.
dude, it looks
He's
like
a bootlicking cop sucker.
it looks like it's probably a tie, dude. I don't think we're gonna have a winner here.
Nah,
But let me share. I want to share one.
I don't think anybody has the heart to hurt our feelings.
I want to share one last cadence with you. Okay, so I got hurt in MCT. I was like, and then I got sent to SOI, and I was on crutches. And so ultimately, they sent me to a medical platoon. But I was gung ho, and there were a lot of losers who just wanted out. And I was gung ho, so they made me the guide. So I would march people into chow, all these medical platoon guys, on my crutches. And so these guys were so shiftless and lazy, I came up with a variated cadence, and I want you guys to hear it. So it was like this. Left, right, left. Left, right, left.
I think I saw
Righty, left. Right, left. Man, I would just have everybody laughing. Like other series, other platoons were just cracking up, man. It was great. So anyways, that's the closing. Anything else to say before I go, BZ?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to comment out loud, so I'm going to type it. This Dr. J. McDuffie says the Marines are paid by the Navy. Go Navy.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Marines are the Department of the Navy. You're right there, sir, but we're the men's department.
Marines are the men's department of the Navy. That is correct. So next time, you're up in San Francisco, say hi to Dr. J. McDuffie. There's probably a bar that he's in front of with a rainbow flag with a Navy flag next to it. So you have someone you can hang out with and have a couple beers. Other than that, everybody, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel or my channel. Make sure to join me over at the Michael Eline channel in a couple of minutes at 5:30. We're going to talk. That's 5:30 Pacific. There you. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. And then with that being said, BZ, I'm going to go ahead and close it out, buddy. Semper Fi, do or die. All right, dude, I'm out, bro.